There's a reason this is one of my favorite games. It's really fantastically fun. Yes, there are a couple of sexist tropes, but you do get to play as Angela for a good portion of the game, and while Jack rescues her once, she rescues him twice. It's not perfect, but it's awesome. And when I heard there was a sequel, I was all over it. Let's dig into Headhunter Redemption.
Redemption starts off with heavy stuff, as a father is about to shoot his own daughter when Jack Wade stops him. She tells him her name is Lisa, and he sends her to a place called a citizen farm, but not before taking note of her pendant. We then get an FMV filling us in on some of the events since the last game. Zweiberg's Bloody Mary virus nearly wiped out civilization, but Angela's company Stern Corporation developed the vaccine that stopped the virus. Chaos still reigned until a massive earthquake leveled entire cities, and America was split in two: the rebuilt gleaming cities above, and the prison colony in the caves below, where criminals are sent after having their mind erased. And this is a politically charged game as well. There's a terrorist group called the Opposition dedicated to destroying Above. And Above's leader, President Goodman, sure looks and sounds a lot like good old W.
Like my father before me, I am pledged to defend our freedoms. There will be no return to the dark days. The state of Above is strong and its people resolute. Our enemies will feel our wrath. God bless you all, and God bless Above.
In the present, it is a mind-boggling 20 years after the first game. Jack takes a call about a break-in from a dispatcher and heads there only to find a young woman stealing data, and she manages to get the drop on him before he turns the tables back on her. He recognizes her pendant, asks her name, Lisa X, and tells her to come with him if she wants to avoid getting sent below. Understandably creeped out, Lisa says, "Thanks, but no thanks, I'll just leave," which is when Jack knocks her out and kidnaps her.
Amuse? What the serious fuck?
When she wakes up, she's gone past creeped out to freaked out and demands an explanation, which is when Jack offers her a job as a headhunter as a way out of her dead-end life. She reluctantly accepts a gun and a pair of sunglasses that double as a combat computer, which serves as your HUD. She's then directed to a data port, which serve as information kiosks as well as checkpoints, and she learns that her father's still alive, and Jack was the one who shot him. And she turns the gun on Jack. He apologizes and takes her out on a call for a faulty alarm at a weapons facility. Halfway there, he gets an urgent call, but she insists she can handle the alarm solo. He begrudgingly allows her to go alone, and upon entering, she finds the security guards dead, and soldiers for the opposition, known as MiGs, are everywhere. Jack tells her to stay put, but she would rather investigate. And this is your first real taste of the game. The controls, while still not ideal, are much better than the original game. You can turn the camera with the right analog stick, and you can even look around in first-person mode to find switches and items and walls you can knock down, but the shooting mechanic is just weird. Raise your gun to lock onto an opponent, or peek at them around a corner, and the cursor will float around, getting more accurate the longer you wait. I get the idea of what they were going for, that the longer you aim before firing, the more accurate you'll be, but in actual practice, it's kinda weird.
Oh boy, target practice!
She clears out all the MiGs, and doesn't find any clues about what they're doing, but after taking out the boss, she asks about her father's prison number, and is told just 2 letters, R and E. Jack arrives just in time to stop a not-quite-dead MiG from killing Lisa, and he gets the name of the opposition lieutenant in charge of the operation, someone named Che. Back at Jack's swingin' bachelor pad, Angela Stern is dropped in to visit, and it's clear that they're not quite partners anymore. In fact, they had a son together, but he apparently died, and Angela seems to blame Jack, but they don't go into any more detail. Angela gives Jack a mission and a key card to go below, but Jack refuses.
It's an easy job, Jack. Get it right, and we forget the other screw-up. If not... Seems no one ever taught you eavesdropping is bad manners.
Where I come from, blackmail's sort of frowned on too.
Put her on a leash, Jack. You're too old to be chasing around the park after puppies.
Meow. Once Jack passes out, Lisa snags the keycard and heads below in search of Che and her father. Amusingly, down below, you can expect to be barraged with announcements and advertisements everywhere, which matches up perfectly with my idea of hell.
A story of subsidiary Megaheart runs biomechanical when the 50 millionth 6808 commander chip rolled off the production with 6808's finding everything. Planes to pacemakers, it seems we really do have 6808 inside. Feeling low? Keep missing those quotas? Suicide isn't the only answer. The recycling center's free euthanasia service guarantees a painless death.
Instead of Hellfire and Demons, though, Lisa finds a boatload of MiGs and the power reactor about to go critical. Lisa stops the reactor from melting down, and while she's congratulating herself, she runs smack into Che.
Wait a minute. I see Che. She doesn't look so tough.
She? Che's a woman?
Right. Like, a mere woman can't be a ruthless killer and #1 villain.
What's she doing now, wise ass?
Lisa chases Che into manufacturing, where she discovers that the opposition hasn't been smuggling weapons, they've actually been manufacturing them, with blueprints provided by the mysterious man who walks with machines, or MW3M for short. Lisa manufactures an item with some blueprints she finds and learns that the opposition can actually make nuclear fuck missiles. They realize that they don't actually intend to launch missiles. Instead, they're going to hijack the nukes that Above is about to fire at opposition targets overseas and bring them right back down onto the city above. Lisa finally finds and confronts Che, who faces you with a sword and a shield. This is not my favorite boss fight ever. For one, the best strategy I've found is keep dodging Che's attacks and the fire bursts that appear, but no matter what part of Che's body you have a clear shot at, the game will only let you shoot her when she does an attack where she overextends herself. Secondly, even though she wields the sword right-handed, and most if not all of the attacks come at you left to right, dodging to the right can still get you hit. This frustrating boss fight is one of the reasons I cheat when I play this game, but it's certainly possible to get through it without. After Che loses, Lisa has earned her respect, and like Jack and Grey Wolf before them, the ladies bond over some light questioning. Turns out Che had no idea the missiles were to be directed at the city. She was told they'd fall harmlessly into the ocean. Pissed, Che blames someone called Psychostar, and agrees to help Lisa get through No Man's Land to reach the entertainment district. Lisa passes on to Jack the info that a courier is heading below from ground level, with the codes needed for the opposition to hijack the missiles, and you get to play as Jack for the first time in the game. Jack tracks down the courier only to discover that he's actually Hank Redwood's son. Recovering from the shock that someone chose to breed with that idiot, Jack finds himself surrounded and still manages to plant a tracker on Hank Jr. before he gets away, but finds he can't bring himself to follow Jr. down below. And we see what happened to Jack and Angela's son.
This is fun. Thanks for bringing me, Dad.
Stay close, you hear? Don't go too far.
Can I be a headhunter like you when I grow up?
Your mom may have a view on that.
She says I'm my father's son.
That's for sure.
Will you and Mom ever get back together?
I don't know. Maybe one day. Someday. Chris? Chris, get back here. Chris!
I'm right here, Daddy.
Chris!
When they reach No Man's Land, Che sets up a rifle, and Lisa covers Che as she crawls under the laser beams to reach the switch to shut them off. This is a pretty cool mini-game, but towards the end, Che will be so far away that the heat-seeking shots won't reach the enemies before they hit her, so I recommend just using the sniper rifle near the end. Che, true to her word, shuts down the lasers, allowing Lisa to cross, but then Che heads to entertainment to face Psychostar alone. Lisa gets into the sewers and runs into Hank Redwood Jr., who's just the most charming guy ever. The slippery weasel gets away, and Lisa chases him into entertainment. This is one of my favorite sections of the game, but weirdly, none of the music can be found on the official soundtrack. Either it didn't fit on the disc, or the series composer Richard Jacques didn't write those songs. Anyway, you hunt through several studios, including a Western studio, a sci-fi studio, a horror studio, which humorously has a Resident Evil-style puzzle in it, and, well, a porn studio. Seriously, all the enemies in this room are in gimp suits. It's pretty great. Lisa doesn't catch up to Hank Jr. before he delivers the missile control card to Psychostar, but Hank got greedy and tried to hold Psychostar up for more money, which earned him a prison cell. Now Lisa has to find him and get the original codes from him so she can hijack the hijackers and take control of the missiles herself.
I'll be Aurora to your Borealis.
Is that dirty? Here, reach inside my shorts.
The codes first, Hank.
Lisa manages to charm the codes out of Hank and leaves him tied up while she goes to save the world. She runs into Psychostar in the control room, who easily lives up to his namesake. This boss fight is tough, like Che, but not for the same reason. He constantly creates fake clones of himself, making it impossible to target him properly. I suggest using the shotgun, especially if you can get close to him. It will likely hit him even if you're not aiming at the actual Psychostar, and 2 or 3 shots up close will take off a quarter of his health. Keep it up and you'll eventually put him down. Lisa takes control of the missiles heading towards the city above and manages to stop all but one, and it's about to hit the city when the missile safely self-destructs. Lisa figures out that the abort signal was sent from the Stern Corporation. She then notices that President Goodman is behaving strangely and notices wires going into the back of his head. She theorizes that the missile threat was intended to get President Goodman into his private bunker, where the opposition was waiting, and they've now taken control of the country without anyone else the wiser. Psychostar applauds her and takes her prisoner. Jack tries to get her signal back, but he gets a frantic call from Angela. She's realized something's not right in her company, and she begs him to meet her. He rushes to Stern Corporation, finding a welcoming party of MiGs in the lobby, and Hank Jr. tells Jack he has Angela on the roof. Jack heads to the top floor, where he finds the board of directors unanimously voting Angela into retirement, which Jack doesn't take too well. I enjoy finishing the job and shooting out all the other monitors as well. Jack gets to the roof, where Hank tells him the board offered him a seat on the board, and he's been told that Jack killed his father. Hank then drops Angela off the side of the roof, and another boss battle begins. At this point, I'm usually enraged and just straight up murder the bastard. His shotgun is inadequate at best, and Hank can't aim as well as he claims. The machine gun is effective enough that I literally just gun the shithead down. Angela is clinging to a ledge, and she tells Jack that their son isn't dead. The machines took him but didn't kill him. Angela and Jack apologize to each other, and Angela falls to her death.
You might be thinking to yourself, wow, this game is dark. I've got news for you. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Lisa wakes up in a cell, finds her iris and a gun, and enters a studio to find herself an unwilling contestant on Psychostar's maze show, where the prize for winning is an entry into the free colony of Liberty. First, you'll have to make your way through an energy maze. Then you'll have to work your way across a floor of panels which rotate between safe and damaging to step on rotating trigger panels 10 times. All the while, a laser will be slowly chasing you around the room. Thirdly, you'll have a combat challenge, but first, the MiGs will tell you that Liberty doesn't exist. Instead, you'll be sent to research and execution, which is exactly where Lisa wants to go. MiGs will pour into the room 4 at a time, and every time you take them out, some of your cover will disappear. But some of the columns have items on top of them. Finally, a giant mechanical spider appears, which is the easiest boss fight in the game. Wait for it to lunge at you and dodge it, get behind it, and light it up. Psychostar tries to send 2 more after Lisa, but a mysterious bandaged man shows up and appears to stop the spiders by using the Force. And Lisa continues on to research and execution. Jack gears up and finally heads below. After working his way through an abandoned subway system, he enters research and execution. And after some exploration, he finds what's left of Che, who has been badly mutilated. Someone appears to have ripped off her left arm, removed both of her eyes, and God knows what else. She tells you the devil did it to her, and she points out where to find Lisa before asking for a gun. Jack complies, and Che kills herself.
I bet you're thinking to yourself, wow, Aaron was right. This game is even darker than I thought it was.
Jack finds Lisa, but finding no way to release her, instead sends her to a place called Dispatch. Jack heads off to find Dispatch, but along the way, he learns about the sadistic doctor responsible for mutilating Che, Candy Floss, who's passionate about creating human-mechanical hybrid abominations. Jack eventually finds Floss, and the scene that follows is my favorite scene from either Headhunter game, so I'm just gonna play the whole thing.
So, Flatfoot finally found his way.
Just followed my nose. They say you can judge a man by the company he keeps, and yours smells like roadkill.
And yet I suspect your intellectual equals. Can you even begin to imagine what I'm doing here, policeman?
From the scenery, I'm guessing you play trumpet in the Salvation Army of Darkness.
An army, perhaps. What you see here is the next generation of 6808-based weapons technology. Biomechanical machines that combine the toughest alloys known to man with man himself. Living, breathing flesh.
Did Stern Corps put you up to this?
They provide the resources courtesy of Megahard. But their vision is limited. They see my children as glorified security guards, policing the world on their behalf. The man who walks with machines plans a bolder future.
Now there's a surprise.
When our work is complete, my children will be able to function as living things, to think, to feel, to grow.
Into what?
Whatever they can be. Once they're alive, truly alive, the world is theirs, the future, infinite.
Great philosophy. Run your hand up the thigh of science till you get your wrist slapped.
I already suffered that indignity. As a dental surgeon, I sought to push back the boundaries, to replace fallible enamel with indestructible polymer carbon implants. The good citizens of above called me a monster, sent me here below in disgrace, for which I thank them. There's only one thing I miss from my clinic. The children. Their warm, salt tears, their whimpering cries, the sweet perfume of their fear. Children have no place below. That's what made your son so special.
Chris?
The machines brought him here, more dead than alive. The perfect starting point for my work, the chance to reconstruct a growing child.
What did you do to him?
Allow me to demonstrate. I'm going to work on your cavities, policeman.
I love that scene so much that years ago I'd planned on producing a video series recreating great scenes in video games with me and my actor friends in real life. That idea never went anywhere, but this scene is still on top of that list of scenes that I compiled for it.
Candy Floss tells Jack that his son no longer exists. Lisa's going on to Liberty, which does actually exist, and that the whole colony of Below exists solely to service Liberty and feed it. Jack thanks him with a bullet to the face. Jack catches up with Lisa, but the bandaged man intervenes again, recognizing Lisa, and she realizes he's her father. She's sent off to Liberty, and he stops the machines from hurting Jack. Jack follows and catches up with him, recognizing him as the man who walks with machines, and Lisa's dad. He's crazy, but Jack manages to get out of him that he worked on the 6808 chip for Stern Corps, the one from the advertisements. His DNA was used as the DNA core, which is why he can control the machines. The 6808 chip is in everything. Sterncore tried to unlock the core, but didn't know what the key was, Lisa's DNA. He realized that if they unlocked the core, it would be alive, and that would be disastrous. So he tried to kill Lisa to prevent it, but Jack stopped him. He doesn't actually lead the opposition. Confusingly, he claims that Liberty itself tells him what to say and do. Jack follows MW3M to Liberty, where the man runs off. Jack contacts Lisa and learns that Liberty itself is simply a massive supercomputer made almost entirely out of people. Criminals work out their lives below, only to wind up assimilated into the system. Sounds familiar, right? This is legitimately the creepiest part of the game, running around on catwalks where the pathways keep getting blocked and changed, while growling metal zombies keep coming out of the woodwork to attack you. And if that wasn't bad enough, once Lisa upgrades your iris to be compatible with Liberty, Liberty starts talking to you.
Come, share with us. Join the many. See everything. Can't trust your own senses. Which way now? You can't defeat us.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. Jack finds Lisa and frees her, and she tells him that even though Liberty didn't assimilate her, it's after the man who walks with machines because it can use him now. She tells him one more thing, that she heard Jack's son's voice in the machine. Jack sets off to destroy Liberty, while Lisa goes to rescue her father. Jack goes to the main bus, where Liberty starts talking to him, and it tells him that once the 6808 is unlocked, they'll be free to enter every computer and machine above, masters instead of slaves. It also tells him that they didn't need to assimilate Lisa, they just need her flesh, and that of the man who walks with machines. Everything that led up to this was planned to get the two of them inside Liberty, and they are walking into a trap. Jack's about to do something about that when this happens.
Her father. You're leading them into a trap. You knew she'd go after him.
Of course. One day. Someday.
Chris?
I'm right here, Daddy. This is fun.
No.
Thanks for bringing me, Dad.
That's my son. Those are his memories. You stole him.
We tasted childhood in our mind, everywhere but sour and stale. We wanted one fresh. The innocence is illuminating.
Daddy, I'm right here.
Frail yet powerful, heartfelt but illogical. Man's greatest strength and greatest weakness.
Daddy?
No. Chris.
Kill us and you kill him.
I'm my father's son.
I know.
No!
But Aaron, I hear you saying, how the critical fuck can this possibly get any darker?
Jack contacts Lisa to let her know it's a trap, but it's too late, and Jack goes after them. He finds them in a huge centrifuge for some reason, and that's when this happens.
Daddy!
You see? The game makes you take Jack and kill his own son! Again! If this shit were any darker, it'd convalesce into a fucking black hole and collapse our entire planet!
Follow Uber Chris around the centrifuge until you get behind him. Hit the shield device on his back with the electric shot until it goes down. Then get in front and light Chris up. After about half damage, he'll head to a charge interface to heal and recharge his shield. Take down the interface with the electric shot before he can get a full heal. Rinse and repeat twice, and Uber Chris will stay down. Jack somehow manages to not collapse into a pile of tears and regret, but Lisa's got more bad news. Liberty has the key. Now they're using it and preparing to transmit it to every 6808 chip in the world. The only way left is to destroy the 6808 core. Lisa heads there while her father clears a path for her and opens the doors, and Jack takes a breather, I guess? When she reaches the core, she finds it's got a pretty nasty defense system. To take down the 6808, stay behind the rotating panels to avoid the laser. When you get an opening, shoot at the metal sheets protecting the core. When they're all gone, use the electric shot to incapacitate the core. Then find one of the panels and use the screen on it. The man who walks with machines will force the codes onto the screen, and you just have to enter them correctly and quickly. If it seems familiar, that's because it's pretty much the bomb defusing minigame from the first game all over again. Anyway, correctly entering the codes will cause that particular rotating shield panel to pull up and away, and the core will add another rotating laser to its attack. When you get down to just one panel left and 4 lasers, it can get hairy, but keep at it and eventually you'll take it down. The 6808 chip's last shields fall away, and Lisa puts a bullet in it. When she gets back to the centrifuge, she finds her father dying from the exertion of fighting Liberty. She forgives him and he passes away. Jack and Lisa take the elevator out of Liberty and emerge into an apocalyptic world where most of their electronics have stopped working. Everyone that either of them ever cared about is now dead. So, yay?
In case you haven't already figured it out, I absolutely adore these games. It's a crying shame that Redemption didn't make a bigger splash. It is narratively superb, better written than the first game, and the first game was no slouch, but the first game is the superior game. It's got more variety, and it's just plain more fun. Now take a guess what my favorite memory of these games are. You're absolutely right if you said the music. In fact, these games have my favorite soundtracks of all time, period.
Please don't mistake me. I said favorite, not best. I've no idea what the best soundtrack ever is. I only know that I listen to these soundtracks more than any other. In fact, I think I listen to these CDs more than any other. They're so good, and you get both games' OST with a single purchase. Richard Jacques has a hell of a talent for action music, and action music has always sounded best to me with a full orchestra, and all of this makes my ears so ridiculously happy. The boss tunes from the first game are amazing, from the unstoppable, implacable Grey Wolf. To the legendary final boss fight music, Final Conflict. It just starts epic and stays there for 4.5 minutes until it delivers a gloriously victorious climax. Oh, the shit just gets me rock hard. The soundtrack for Redemption is similarly brilliant, but it is synthesized instead of fully orchestral. Still, there's some great music here. I love the opening theme, One-to-One with Che, Candy Floss, Taking Liberty, and the subdued but creepy theme to Research and Execution deserves special mention. But the final boss music, the 6808, just kind of peters out at the end. It's the only real disappointment out of 2 discs of wondrous eargasms, so I can forgive it. I listened to them non-stop, over and over again for weeks, several times a year. I just love this music that much.
Well, thanks for sitting through all that. Be sure to give me a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also, you can catch my podcast, Super Jump Radio, available on iTunes. And I'm also still streaming twice a week for GOG.com. Be sure and check that out. But for now, I've got more memories to make.